Hi, this is Alexandria, Minnesota chiropractor Dr. David Butler. In this video, I want to discuss recent research that investigates the cause of our rising obesity rates. The popular held belief is that obesity is mainly an overeating issue. But a recent study from Stanford University reported in the American Journal of Medicine suggests the rise in obesity in the United States is likely due to increased sedentary lifestyles across the nation and not eating too many calories. The researchers came to this conclusion after studying data for the last 20 years from the U.S. National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, which reveals there has been a sharp decline in levels of leisure time physical activity among Americans, especially among young women, accompanied by an increase in average body mass index, or BMI, while calorie consumption has remained somewhat steady. The researchers found that more than half, or 51.7% of female adults in the United States reported no leisure physical activity in 2010. This proportion is nearly 3 times what it was in 1994, when 19.1% of American women reported doing no exercise. For men, while the proportion who reported no leisure time physical activity in 2010 was lower than for women, at 43.5%, this is still nearly 4 times the 11.4% of men who said they did not exercise in 1994, when the researchers analyzed the data by subgroups. The team found women, and Black and Mexican American women in particular, showed the greatest decreases in reported exercise. So while the amount of exercise has decreased, the BMI, or body mass index, and average waist size have increased steadily. And across the same period, the U.S. saw average body mass index rise by an average of 0.37% per year, with the most dramatic increase being in young women. A person is considered abdominally obese if their waist circumference is 88 centimeters, or 34.65 inches, or more for a woman, and 102 centimeters, or 40.15 inches, or more for a man. The team also looked at changes in abdominal obesity, which some consider an independent risk factor for death, even among people with normal BMIs. They found being apple-shaped is considered riskier than being pear-shaped for the same height and weight. And oh, by the way, according to the National Institutes of Health, obesity and overweight together are the second leading cause of preventable death in the United States. But in this study, the researchers found that average waist size went up by 0.37% per year for women and 0.27% for men. And they also found that abdominal obesity has gone up in both normal weight and overweight women, while for men, abdominal obesity only went up in overweight men. I guess men are luckier. This study also found these changes have occurred in the absence of significant changes in calorie consumption, which seems to run against the popular belief. And in fact, they state, at the population level, we found a significant association between the level of leisure time physical activity, but not daily caloric intake, and the increases in both the BMI and the waist circumference. The researchers go on to state, our findings do not support the popular notion that the increase of obesity in the United States can be attributed to primarily sustained increases in the average daily caloric intake of Americans. And although this study didn't investigate the types of food consumed, the researchers were able to calculate the total daily calorie, fat, carbohydrate, and protein consumption over the period, which they found had not changed significantly over the last 20 years. According to Professor Ladebloom, the lead researcher for this study, it remains controversial whether overweight alone increases mortality risks, but the trends in abdominal obesity among the overweight are concerning in light of the risk associated with increased waist circumference, independent of BMI. These are troublesome trends in younger adults, they state, because while increased calorie intake is often blamed for the current obesity epidemic in the United States, the researchers say they found no evidence of this in their study. And as Professor Ladebloom's concludes that while it looks like obesity rates appear to be leveling out in the United States, their analysis highlight troublesome trends in younger adults, especially in women, and in abdominal obesity prevalence, as well as persistent racial and ethnic disparities. Dr. Catherine Paddock, PhD, has written a wonderful article about this study, and it is published in the Medical News today. And you can see this article and read this article by clicking on the link below. If you'd like to read the articles and findings from these studies, please follow the link provided below. But if you'd like to learn more about helping you and your family regain and improve your health and wellness without the risks and side effects of drugs and surgeries, just contact Century Chiropractic at 320-762-0667. Thanks for watching, and thanks again for all the positive comments and encouragement on these blogs. Until next time, this is Dr. David Butler, wishing you good health.